video of me shooting a pheasant. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have to wonder if it is not considered a crime to shoot a dog in South Dakota. I don't know.
This is Carburetor. I'm coming to you with recent news about Governor Kristi Noem. This is a video of her from a year ago giving a speech, not about the ERA. We'll get to this video later after I read about the recent news that she wrote in her book about killing her dog. It wasn't an accident because she also killed a goat. She lives with a lot of animals out there in the redneck area. So she's got to just weed out the less useful animals.
I was a little embarrassed by that video, though, because it took me 3 shots to drop that bird. Obviously, I was a little out of practice.
Okay, let's go through this article to get some details. Vice President contender Kristi Noem faces backlash after admitting to killing her dog. I'm just going to ignore some glaring red flags and signs. I don't want to be too political. South Dakota governor. Yeah, that's out there in the middle of nowhere. A Republican. You didn't have to tell us. You didn't. I've been reporting on this for many years about how it's always Republicans with this mentality. New memoir, No Going Back, The Truth. Yes. On what's wrong with politics. She's what's wrong with politics. Her dog's name is Cricket. It was 14-month-old dog she had intended to train for hunting pheasant. After the canine ruined a hunt. Yeah, see, it seemed like she did it out of anger. Ruined a hunt, man. I cannot imagine what it's like to have a hunt ruined, because I've never been on a hunt. Dog killed another family's chickens, and then moved to bite her. Right, see, seems to be a whole bunch of conflicting reasons for her to kill the dog. Noem said Cricket had an aggressive personality and was untrainable. They went on a pheasant hunt. It makes it sound like it was the first time the dog was out hunting. But Cricket went out of her mind with excitement.
Like a puppy.
Chasing all those birds and having the time of her life. Yeah, dogs just want to have fun. They don't, do you want to be trained and be a sheep your whole life? She said she called Cricket, then used an electronic collar. On the way home, Cricket escaped Noem's truck. Well, whose fault is that? The dog then whipped around to bite me. Well, the dog was just excited. That happens. And the dog's young, too. And why are you hunting pheasant? There's hunters out there, yeah, that's a thing. She's governor of this kind of a place. I guess that's fine. But, just stay in your place. We don't need a person like this being in the federal government, being in the White House. After that, Noem said, I realized I had to put her down. No, she didn't. We'll get to that later. We're going to hear from an expert dog trainer. She led Cricket to a gravel pit and shot and killed the dog. I'm surprised. It doesn't seem like she ate the meat. Isn't that a waste? You could have sent the organs to Frank. Frank Tufano. He eats baby organs. I guess those are healthier. Oh, yeah. Noem also killed a goat that she said was nasty and mean. Speaking of nasty and mean, this goat smelled, too. Well, whose fault is that again?
I mean, as if goats don't smell.
This goat was knocking down her children, ruining her clothes. Why? Again, I gotta ask, why live this way? We have no need for animals. She also killed the goat in the gravel pit.
Governor, what are you doing?
I'm eating my breakfast. Ice cream and...
I just paused because I need to make sure the video quality is up. That's one thing I forgot to do. So I'll do it here. Maybe this will do. Yeah, I had it real low. Okay, here we go. One more time in good quality.
Governor, what are you doing?
I'm eating my breakfast. Ice cream and rhubarb and strawberry dessert, crisps.
Wasn't expecting this. She is celebrating Cow Appreciation Day, which I've never heard of, even though I've been in these vegan circles for like 13 years. She's eating dessert for breakfast. That reminds me of a recent video I made. Frank eating dinner at 5 in the morning.
Not the best breakfast, but that...
Well, you don't like ice cream.
I don't like ice cream. It's Cow Appreciation Day. Did you know that? So
Did not
this
know
is a
that.
book my sister gave me. It is Cow Appreciation Day. So I'm spending some time enjoying my book of beautiful cows.
Why would this book be made? Why does this exist? You would think it would be for vegans. Or maybe non-vegans who want to heighten their delusion, trying to get everyone to think they're good people, including themselves. Because cows are not beautiful. I got attacked for saying that once. It was like 14 years ago. I think they assumed I was not a vegan. All the vegans attacked me.
Will appreciate the cattle in their life today. Eat a hamburger or be grateful for the industry. We have more cattle than
Industry that abuses cows.
appreciate the cattle in their life today. Eat a hamburger. I'm going to be enjoying my coffee table book because I don't get to chase cows today. But I do get to have ice cream for breakfast. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, whatever.
So if I
I just came back to show you a comment here 9 months ago. She likes cows the same way she likes women and children. Maybe that refers to reproductive rights. She treats them like cattle who don't deserve to make their own decisions. Oh, sounds like a vegan here. Meat is good. You can appreciate something that feeds your family. You could eat the food off the land instead of using all that land to feed cows for years and then eat the cow. Very inefficient, hurts the environment, hurts your health, and then these people are against free health care. Think about our politics today as you read this quote. She put that story in the book to show that in politics and life, she was willing to do what was difficult, messy, and ugly if it was necessary. Remember who picked her as her running mate. The backlash from Democrats, and conservatives. See, it's not a political thing. Although, like I try to tell my vegan audience, when you are a vegan, you're just really likely to be liberal-minded. And so you should be voting, get these people out of office. The Lincoln Project, they do the best work in nailing these conservatives. They released an ad that said, when tough moments come with pets, shooting your dog in the face is not an option. Well, maybe it is in South Dakota. Noem responded to the backlash. Here we go, vegans. We love animals, but tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm. Yeah, don't have a farm. I never had a farm. I've got a garden. Sadly, we just put down 3 horses. Geez, she's still doing it. She can't stop. It's like Amber Heard. And the Donald, they can't stop burying themselves. If you want more real, honest, and politically incorrect stories. So today she is now promoting her book as something that will bother the decent people. These are the people that cause the world to be the bad place it is. We need to keep these people out of government, weed them out. That's the only way we're going to get anywhere and make the world a better place. So there's where I disagree with Freely the most. We can't turn someone vegan one at a time. We can't make people better people. Only way is to weed them out through politics, not with guns. Her father died in a farming accident. One of her kids works in the oil industry. Christian, yeah, right. She's worth $2 million for some reason. So here's a video with a trigger warning, which some of my vegan viewers may find maybe unfunny. It is kind of irritating to us vegans that people who are not vegan are so sensitive to things like this.
Where she boasts of having to, trigger warning here, where she boasts of shooting her pet dog, a 14-month-old German pointer. And CNN wanted me to comment on this.
Joining us now is dog trainer Zach George, host of Zach Was Out of Her Mind with Excitement, chasing birds on the hunt, attacking chickens. I wonder what you've made of that.
This is an astonishing story, to say the least. The behavior described here is very typical adolescent behavior out of a dog that's been selectively bred to have endless stamina and endurance. And it really speaks to the fact that the general public is deeply confused about dog behavior and how to treat them. That's something we advocate for a lot on my social media to try and help educate the public around modern humane treatment of dogs.
She talks about using an electronic collar, but then at the same time, she calls the dog untrainable. I mean, when you hear that, I mean, do you get the sense that she really tried her level best to actually train this dog?
I don't know what her personal best would be, but yeah, there are many more appropriate ways to train dogs than that, especially with electric collars and aversive methods like this that rely on pain, fear, and intimidation. Those are strongly correlated with increased aggression in dogs. Now, you know, many members of the public don't realize that. That's one of the big problems, that collars like electric collars and prong collars and choke chains are used aggressively to suppress behavior. But one of the things we're trying to raise awareness about is the fact that there are so many side effects.
I think these right-wingers need these electronic collars. Maybe we could have prevented that attack on the Capitol that ended up killing one of them, and 3 other people died later, and a whole bunch of people went to prison, and we almost lost our democracy.
As she writes in her book, hard choices are made. You just don't understand what it's like, I think, in different parts of the country. What do you make of that? Because I'm sure there are people who are listening and thinking it's a dog, which is certainly not my opinion of the matter. But what do you say to people who look at this issue and think that we're being naive?
I think we're losing.
Oh, I think I just blew his mind with that question. The idea that.
Yeah, that was a great question, because that's the sentiment that I'm seeing, of course. I want to know from an expert here.
We had some technical difficulty at the end, but what I wanted to say there was, this to me is shocking. You would expect someone, if they were going to tell this story, to be more reverent about it, but to celebrate this and to portray this as an act of courage, and that's why you should vote for me and keep me in office in South Dakota. If I'm a citizen of South Dakota, I'm going to insist on an investigation here to understand if this was legal or not. But what do you all think? Tell me in the comments below.
If I were you,
that puppy could have been rehomed easily. Yes, there's plenty of options she didn't care to take. I perceive it as violent and abusive behavior. Republicans are famous for not caring. I made an entire video about the not caringness. Even a few clips of them actually saying the words, "I don't care." And then there's Melania, who had it written on her jacket. Heartless and proud of using violence and abuse as a solution to a situation. Does that sound familiar?
South Dakota refused, and was the only state that refused to issue any lockdowns. I don't know if political leaders even realized that there was another option. I was shocked at how quickly people gave up their freedoms. Politicians closed churches, so people willingly gave up their freedom of religion. Politicians said you couldn't gather in groups, so people willingly gave up their freedom of assembly. Politicians worked with social media companies to stifle dissent, so people willingly gave up their freedom of speech. Video of me shooting a pheasant, I don't know if you've seen it. I had turned to the camera after shooting a bird and said, "Less COVID, more hunting," and the liberals melted down on me. I was a little embarrassed by that video, though, because it took me 3 shots to drop that bird. Obviously, I was a little out of practice. I was making fun of myself. I needed more hunting. It wasn't my best day shooting, and I shouldn't have been surprised when PETA and all the liberal media came unglued and came after me. I couldn't believe.
Wait, is she saying she was surprised? So here she's being disingenuous.
Couldn't believe that I would say less COVID, more hunting. In Washington, D.C. fails to deliver meaningful solutions.
What's useful is free healthcare. Finding solutions to the border crisis, which they are voting against so they can keep it going and use it as a political tool.
Well, here my honor and good sense require me to continue to fight for freedom, and that's what I'll do.
Bullshit. Does anyone get ads like this? I get these. Well, this is kind of fitting for this video. Look at this. Get the idea.
There's a valid argument to be made that this is a distasteful thing to do, a weird thing to do. But here's the thing. This outrage that we're hearing from leftists about how crazy it is, how horrible it is that Kristi Noem shot her dog, where is the same outrage when almost 1 million times a year here in the United States, unborn boys and girls...
Here we go. I hate this, what they've done with this issue. This is so much bullshit. Are these people just dense? It is not the same thing. Why do they continue to equate these two things?
Will the state of South Dakota, going forward, force a 10-year-old in that very same situation to have a baby?
You know what I think is incredible, Dana, in this tragic story? Because I heard about this last night. What's incredible is that nobody's talking about the pervert, horrible, deranged individual. Got a 1-year-old little granddaughter named Miss Addie. I can't even imagine. What I would say is I don't believe a tragic situation should be perpetuated by another tragedy. And so there's more that we've got to do to make sure.
She's calling it a tragedy to reverse an unwanted pregnancy. And without answering, she is saying she would force the 10-year-old to carry the pregnancy and give birth. These people are psycho. I've been saying it for 10 years.
Should she have to have a child?
For that little girl. I think we also need to be addressing those sick individuals that do this to our children.
I couldn't agree more. But our bodies are our bodies, and women are the ones who get pregnant. And in this case, it wasn't a woman; it was a girl. Should she have to have a child? A child. Should she have to have that baby?
Every single life is precious. This tragedy is horrific. I can't even imagine. I've never had anybody in my family or
her bird hunting dog, she bought it to hunt pheasants, attacked chickens. A puppy.
It just occurred to me. Yeah, chickens are technically birds.
And she is telling you in this book, almost with delight, it seems, how she hated this dog, a puppy. Any of you who have dog, like I've got a dog, I love my dog. I cannot imagine executing my dog for anything.
You remember Joni Ernst talking about castrating pigs when she was coming into the Senate? To talk about like rural life on the farm makes them seem a little tough maybe. It's not a thing any of us need as voters. We don't need to hear about it. Save that trauma for your therapist, man.
I can't.
This lady snapped.
No, she does this, but they do this.
She went on an animal rampage killing spree, and it was all across the areas of zoology. She done killed 3 horses, a goat, and a dog. Like, this is troubling.
In front of children.
In front of children.
Her own daughter.
A 14. Where's Cricket? What is it? God, that's like a Stephen King novel. What are we supposed to make of that?
Yeah.
It's insane.
I am doing my best. There's 2 aspects of this. And to kill puppies because they bother her. This is someone who thinks they're in touch. And what's most pathetic about this is that Donald Trump won't care. You know why? Donald Trump's the only president in American history, from what I could tell, that has never owned a pet.
Gene?
I grew up in Middletown, Connecticut, and all I can say is this. The person who really wrote her book was Dexter, okay? The show. That is sick. That is sick.
Republicans love to yell at people like me and Democrats that we don't get America. You know, we're living in a bubble. We like our kale, we like our DEI, we like all these things that we just don't get what goes on between the coasts. What America is she living in where people think that it's a good idea to talk about, to do what she did?
Thumbs up or down, and post your reaction to this story down below. Also, I'd appreciate it if you share this on Twitter for me since I got banned from there by Elon Musk for exercising my freedom of speech.